What's up guys, Firewolf here, reviewing the ROG Strix XG27 UCS gaming monitor. This is a 27-inch 4K fast IPS monitor, priced just under $500 for gamers looking to jump into ultra high definition gaming. It has a space saving desk stand and tons of gaming features, so I want to know if this monitor is worth getting for your gaming desk setup. Taking a dive into the specs of this monitor, we get a respectable 160Hz refresh rate and a 1 millisecond response time. The pixel density is high at about 163 pixels per inch, making this 27-inch 4K display ultra sharp. Colors also look great with a 95% DCI P3 color gamut coverage and a factory check color calibration. We also get a non-glare matte coating and a typical brightness of 400 nits. For gaming, this monitor has AMD FreeSync Premium and is NVIDIA G-Sync compatible for smooth, tear-free gaming. For inputs, this monitor has one DisplayPort 1.4, one HDMI 2.1 port, a USB-C DisplayPort with up to 15 watts of power delivery, and finally there's a 3.5mm headphone jack. I do wish they included a USB hub, but they made it up with an awesome USB-C input and HDMI 2.1 to take advantage of next-gen consoles. Now before we get into the fun stuff, let's unbox the ROG Strix XG27 UCS. For those who dare. So it comes in this really nice brown box. Let's go ahead and open this up. Alright, now that we got the box out the way, let's go ahead and see what we get inside. Alright, so starting with the actual stand here, it features a nice flat bottom design, which is going to save a lot of desk space. Comes in this really nice gray color, which we can see Republic Gamers right on the bottom right. And also you have a nice little slot here to put your smartphone. Alright, so next thing is the stand here. Same thing in a nice color here. We do have a nice opening for cable management here. And overall, it's a nice sturdy stand. We can see a nice 1/4-inch tripod socket here. So you can put things like a camera, extra lighting. So it's really good for content creators and streamers. Alright, so next thing here is a really nice pouch here. I do like the fact that ASUS gives us a accessory pouch to store your cables later on. Now inside the pouch, we're going to see a nice DisplayPort cable with a nice ROG theme as well. Now this is the only input cable that they give you though, so I really wish they would have at least included an HDMI or something like that. But we do get a DisplayPort. And finally, the last thing inside that box is going to be our US plug. There is no other separate power adapter, so it looks like we're just going to have the power cord. And once you're done, you can always put the cables that you don't no longer plan or whatever cables you want and store it in this nice little pouch. Alright, further inside, we're going to have this really cool looking anime themed card here. You can see for those who dare. And of course, this being an ROG product, we're always going to have those nice ROG stickers. So if you ever need some stickers here, they're going to give you a ton. Next, we have a nice user manual guide in case you ever get lost. And finally, a VIP member notice. Alright, let's go ahead and unwrap this. Alright, here's the actual monitor here. Nice 27-inch display. The back does look really cool. Has that nice gray color. Here we can see the actual fronts of the display here. So let's go ahead and set this up. Alright, before we install the stand here, if you ever want to mount this on a monitor arm, you do have VESA mount holes 100 by 100, which is really awesome. Installing the stand is very easy. All we have to do is just angle it and click it in. Alright, next we grab the bottom base here. We're just going to line it up. Alright, because this has a wingtip screw here, you just have to manually screw it in place with just your hand. No tools necessary, so I do like that a lot. I'm going to make sure it's nice and tight. And now we're ready for liftoff. The back design of this monitor looks really cool with all the lines shooting across with the ROG logo standing out. There's no RGB lighting, and while the gray color looks awesome, I would have preferred it to be all black. I like how the stand saves a lot of your desk space and even has a phone stand to put your smartphone in. But keep in mind that certain cases can make it difficult to put it in. The cable management is also great at hiding your cables. The stand also has a good amount of height adjustment, swivel, tilt, and can even pivot for a vertical setup. For a cleaner setup though, I like to mount it on a monitor arm. Now let's test out the ROG Strix XG27 UCS using my gaming PC equipped with an RTX 4090 and a Ryzen 9 7950X3D. With a fast 1 millisecond response time and 160Hz refresh rate, 4K gaming on this monitor is fire for under $500. Enabling G-Sync also makes gaming buttery smooth. While I would have preferred a higher refresh rate, 4K gaming is still very demanding even with the best graphics cards, so 160Hz is still a solid number. I'm running Black Myth Wukong with graphics set to cinematic and DLSS set to performance with full ray tracing, and it looks so damn good. In SDR, there are many game visual settings you can choose that are optimized for certain game types, like a dedicated FPS mode. You can even adjust the shadow boost levels that can help in very dark settings to see enemies more clearly, which is helpful in first-person shooters. There's also AI enhanced features such as dynamic shadow boost and dynamic crosshair. Other gaming features include variable overdrive to minimize ghosting and overshoot, and extreme low motion blue sync, which also eliminates ghosting and tearing when running high frames per second. Now, I personally didn't find the need to use these features, but it's still great to have. And finally, you can always add an FPS counter. There's 6 different crosshair options, a timer, and a stopwatch. For HDR, this monitor is VISA Certified Display HDR 400, which is the lowest HDR certification, but at least you can expect some decent HDR gaming with a peak brightness of 450 nits. While HDR locks you out of many tweaks and customizations, you can at least select between 3 different HDR modes: gaming, cinema, or console, and it even allows you to enable brightness adjustment. I think the XG27 UCS adds a lot of value with its wide range of gaming features, making this a great 4K IPS gaming monitor. For those that have next-gen gaming consoles like the PS5, I'm happy to report that this monitor will support 4K variable refresh rates all the way up to 120Hz, which is awesome. This is thanks to HDMI 2.1, which unlocks your console's maximum potential. For games that support VRR, you'll experience smoother gameplay. Now, since this monitor has no built-in speakers, the only option for sound output is a 3.5mm headphone jack to connect to external speakers. Now, of course, you can use headsets, but it's still nice knowing that you can connect to external speakers. I think this is a great option for console gamers looking for a 27-inch 4K gaming monitor without breaking the bank. Text clarity on this 27-inch display is amazing. You get an ultra sharp 163 pixels per inch, which is way higher than a 1440p 27-inch monitor with a pixel density of 109 pixels per inch. Using Office apps like Word and Excel is great on this display thanks to that 4K resolution. You're also going to have a great experience web browsing, emailing, and pretty much any type of work. Brightness on this monitor is also great in SDR, which I measured a peak of 502 nits at a 2% window and a peak of 495 nits on a 100% window, with most of the higher peaks focused more on the center. In HDR, I was able to measure a peak of 541 nits, so you're definitely getting a slightly higher brightness rating compared to the official typical SDR brightness of 400 nits and HDR peak of 450 nits. Now, since this panel uses an LED backlight, you are going to notice some of the backlight bleed in very dark backgrounds when you have it at full brightness. Now, it's not too noticeable when looking directly in front of the screen, and in game I had no issues. Since this monitor has a USB-C DisplayPort input, connecting your MacBook or gaming laptop is easier and seamless with just a single USB-C cable. It will even charge your laptop, although at a very low rate of 15 watts, but it's still enough to operate your laptop when closed. macOS looks amazing on its 4K display, and I was able to get a 144Hz refresh rate with the base M3 chip. I would have liked a USB hub with a KVM switch for a better experience between using my gaming PC and MacBook, but this USB-C input makes this monitor very versatile. Accessing the menu is located on the right back side of this monitor. Now, it takes some time to remember that there are 4 dedicated keys with a 4-directional joystick on top. I like how the on-screen display is very large and easy to read with a ton of customization and tweaks to make it your very own. You can download and use ASUS's Display Widget Sensor if you prefer making changes with your mouse on the screen for a full software experience. As a content creator, this monitor is great for video and photo editing. 4K is a must, and having accurate colors is also important. For me personally, I prefer a larger 32-inch screen, but this 27-inch screen can still get things done. DaVinci Resolve still looks great with all the things I need to make and create some awesome content. So to the ultimate question, does the ROG Strix XG27 UCS deserve a spot in your gaming desk setup? Well, if you're looking for a good 27-inch 4K gaming monitor that is priced under $500, then this is worth to be considered. Since 4K gaming is still very demanding, I think 160Hz is still respectable, since depending on the game, hitting more than 160 frames per second might require lowering settings or an intense high-end GPU. I think if you have a GPU in the mid to high end, you'll be able to enjoy some awesome 4K gaming. And let's not forget next-gen consoles with VRR support up to 120Hz. For those that want the highest refresh rates for fast-paced gaming and for a competitive advantage, then this monitor might not be the best choice for you. Still, for a 4K gaming monitor with great features and USB-C, the XG27 UCS is a win in my book. If you're interested in getting this monitor or the many tech that you've seen in this video, I will have affiliate links down below, which also helps and support the Firewolf Tech channel. I hope this video was helpful for you guys, and I would love your support with a like, share, and subscribe. Firewolf out.